Morning guys, it's the Wiltshire Rider here, and it's a very grey, damp day in Wiltshire in the UK, and I just thought I'd do a little video on the bike. I did a video nearly a year and a half ago now of my 6-year review on what it's like to own this bike, so I just thought I'd do a video on what I've actually replaced and what I've maintained. So I'm just going to run through it, just a point of interest, and when I can remember I'll give you prices of everything that I've replaced. Some of it I've forgotten now because I replaced quite some time ago. But we're going to start with one of the most recent replacements, and that was my battery. So I use a Motorbat gel battery. I bought one brand new when I first had this bike because the battery on it was lagging when I was starting the bike. It's like a lazy start. Good indication that the battery's going. So when I first bought one of these 6 years ago, it was £95. I bought this one last month, £130. So they've gone up considerably. But they are a fantastic battery. I've got a connector hooked into the top box, which is a USB plug to charge my cameras and my phone when I'm riding. I've also got heated grips, so need a good battery, and I do keep it trickle charged because the bike's kept outside in the winter, well, all year round basically, so I do trickle charge it around twice a week. So that was my most recent. My other most recent one is this screen. Not actually happy with this screen. It's a lot more narrow than my other screen. You can see where my other screen used to come out to here and up, so it gave me more protection. This, because of the shape, one, it distorts what you're looking at when you look through. It gives quite a big distortion because of the curve, and two, I cannot get it adjusted right to stop it buffeting. Not necessarily the top of my helmet, but a lot of buffeting around my chest area. It tends to give like a little tornado effect. So I've tried a screen extender, but it doesn't help. So I'm looking to go back to the older type screen, but I can't remember what it was. So I've got to look into some research to see which one I had. Again, this is a Power Bronze one. It's reasonable, but I'm not happy with it. I think the other one I had was better, just because it was wider. The other thing I've done this year is I've replaced the brackets for my day running lights. Got a more solid bracket on there. There's more adjustment, and my other lights are down there. They're fantastic in the really horrible weather. They really get you visibility and people can see you. Obviously I put the heat bars on. These were £145 about 2 years ago, again from eBay. Really easy to fit. They took me less than an hour to fit. They bolt together down there. They bolt on underneath up there. You don't have to strip the fairing down. All you got to do is take this off, and they're quite easy to slide up and bolt together. There's no real problem with those. New pistons and rubbers all round. I bought stainless steel pistons, obviously 6 on the front, 3 on the back. The piston kits for the front brakes was £200. That was stainless steel pistons and rubbers. And the rear brake kit was £100 for 3 stainless steel pistons and all the rubbers. Genuine ones were over £300 per caliper, so obviously I went for the pattern ones. New front mudguard years ago. I made the mistake of leaving a padlock and chain on, went to ride off, and you guessed it, smashed up the front mudguard. New discs about a year and a half ago. They were £450. They are DID discs, and they were the only ones I could really get for the ABS model. So this is a 2005 VA fuel injected model. It's one of the first fuel injected models, so it's just on the change apparently, but couldn't find discs anywhere, so I had to go for the DIDs, and the ABS ring doesn't come with them. So if you ever change your front discs, don't throw away the ABS ring. You can't get those anymore, so look after those. Obviously painted my wheels gold. This was Hammerite paint. Bought a can of Hammerite paint, quick drying for 12 quid, a lovely soft bristle brush, because I didn't want the expense of taking the tyres off, taking all this gumph off, and sending the wheels off to be repainted. The old grey wheels were looking a bit shabby and tired, and I really think this gold colour's perfect. It goes with the blue lovely, so I'm really happy with that. I'll talk about the braking system in a bit, but I've replaced, I done a new master cylinder kit there. I done a new master cylinder kit on the caliper there. I did a new kit in there, and as I said, I've replaced rubbers and pistons there, and also some braided hoses there. I will explain why I've done all that. Rear hugger, a recent replacement, because I also had to replace my rear shock. That's a YSS or a YKS, can't remember now, from Yorkshire, 450 quid. New shock with a spring to go with the weight of the bike and me, so it's made to take the weight. I had one before, but it didn't have the right spring on, and the seals went and they were pitted from stone chips and stuff like that, so hence the rear hugger. The main stand, unfortunately, if you notice, the actual foot lever is missing because it went rusty and it snapped off. I could go and get it welded. Don't know what the charge would be, but that's a summer job. I'm going to take it off, see how much it will cost to get it welded, or again on eBay I could get, it's 120 quid for, looks like quite a strong centre stand, so I'm looking into that, but I will let you know and video it when I can. The other thing I've done to do with the braking system is a new proportional control valve. If anyone is after one of those and they can't get one, a brand new one from a dealer, they are still available, but they're £500. I have my old one. I took it off to eliminate a problem, and I will talk about the problem in a minute, but it wasn't this that was the problem, and I managed to get this from Germany for £110 about a year ago. I've done a video on it, if you recall. You might be able to see it on my channel. So I still have the old one. The old one works, there's nothing wrong with it, but I had to eliminate, it was a process of elimination, and that was one of the things I replaced. And the process of elimination is because this back brake, as all you Varadero owners know, is a bit of a lemon. It sticks. So whenever you apply the brakes and you let your foot off the brake, it just binds a little bit every single time, which means the pads wear out quicker than normal. I've replaced everything, as I said. Brake lines, proportional control valve, I've done all the pistons, I've done the rubbers, I've done all the master and slave cylinder kits, and I've bought reasonably priced kits. The kit for the back brake pedal was 45 quid. The kit, and when I say kit, it's all the inside gubbins. That one was £45, and the one down on the front wheel was £45. And I didn't replace them all at once. I done one at a time because I wanted to see if it eliminated the problem. Each time it got slightly better, but it still rubs. The brake still rubs. The last result is, I've been told, the caliper can warp with heat over time, and it only takes it to be out a couple of thousandths of an inch, a millimetre, and it will make the brake pads rub. I've checked into the price of a genuine part, and they are over £700. There's no point in buying a second-hand one because I don't know if the second-hand one is twisted or warped or old. So my next solution, I'm going to buy a spring to put in between there to help keep the pads off the disc. Not perfect, but they do it on cars. On cars you always have a spring between the pads, so I'm going to try it. 3 new back tyres. I had a slice of metal go through the back tyre, and I couldn't plug it because the slice went right the way along. Then I had a massive bolt go up through there and out. So this is my 3rd tyre this year. £260 a tyre. So obviously not happy about that, but that's part of riding for you. So I've got connected to the battery, you can see this wire here connects there, and in here I have a USB charger, and I have a rechargeable pump. I have a puncture kit, and also I keep my batteries and everything in here when I'm using the camera. What else have I replaced? This thing here for the clutch lever, this snapped. The bracket, the mounting bracket, must have been fatigue, it snapped in there. I've also done a video on that. That was £50 to replace. Bought this a couple of years ago. This was 85 quid with a link on the Michelin Flyers YouTube channel. Brilliant. It links to the phone, so it saves you having your phone on the handlebars. It's not something I've personally suffered from myself, but a lot of people say about, especially with iPhones, the vibration killing the camera. I didn't personally have that, but when you switch it on, you've seen it on my videos anyway, Oki is called or something like that, and it connects to the phone. My phone's not with me, but it does connect to the phone, and you can do everything on this. You can make phone calls, you can have maps, music, whatever you want. It all comes up. So yeah, really happy with that. It works well. I've connected it straight to the battery so that it comes on with the ignition. Basically, you put the one connector to the battery and the other one I pushed up into the brake light switch, and it comes on and off with the ignition. Real simple fit, and then the wires come up through here. It looks like it's part of the bike, so touch wood at the moment, I've had nobody try to mess with it. New sat-nav bar, that was 30 quid. It was from China, but to be honest, it is really solid, not too much vibration, so I'm happy with that. New mirror. I dropped the bike, broke the mirror, same time as I broke the screen. So it is a cheap knockoff, and it's not as good quality as the original, but it does the job, so quite happy with that. So the bike now has 70,000 miles on it. In fact, it has 71,673, and apart from a clutch cable breaking and the rear shock, it hasn't been off the road for any other reasons. One of the other things I've done, I replaced the petrol tank. Again, guys, if you need a petrol tank, I do have the old one. The reason I replaced it is because the hole in the petrol tank neck where the water should run out is blocked. Tried to unblock it a couple of times, unsuccessful. I managed to pick up a tank for 55 quid, believe it or not, in black, and I had it repainted, which cost me a lot more than I wanted it to. It was £300, but I think they've done quite a good job, and it's all working lovely. Stickers, obviously, you've seen these before. That was a kit on eBay. That was 25 quid for a set of stickers to stop the wear and tear. I've also, as you know, done this carbon fibre sticker just because I wanted to see how it looked, and I think it looks okay, and maybe one day in the future I might get it dipped, or I might do it properly and make it more permanent. Chain and sprockets. I replaced these 21,000 miles ago, and they are still going strong. The chain is in good order. I clean it, and I just use a really thick gearbox oil on the chain. I don't use any. I clean it with sometimes GTF or WD-40, wipe it down, and then I just put some gearbox oil on it. You don't get much fling off with gearbox oil, and it stays on there. And this is a DID X-ring chain, and as I say, it's got plenty of wear in it yet, and it's not really worn off the sprockets, so I'm really happy with that. My next job will be, as I said, the centre stand. I'm going to see whether I buy new or whether I try and get it welded. If it's only going to cost me 20 quid to get it welded, I might go for that option. And the exhaust gaskets. I've still got the exhaust gaskets in the shed ready to go, and I just haven't been brave enough to do it yet. But as soon as I do it, I will film it. And then one of the things that's gone on this one is the radiator. I had a tiny pinhole in the radiator right down here, and I had to buy a new set. Now, those radiators from a genuine supplier are still available if you want to pay over £400 for a pair. I did take a risk and I bought them from China. They are exactly the same as the originals, and they were £110 for the pair, and they've been on there about 3 years now, so really happy with those. Quite surprised, but really happy. I didn't expect them to actually fit for that kind of cost, but they did. So well happy with that. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's a rundown of what I've been doing over the last 7 years. And the reason I try and keep this bike going is because there's no electronics on these bikes up to modern day bikes. It's got ABS and it's got fuel injection, and that is it. There is nothing else on this bike. So I can do everything pretty much myself. I am not a mechanic. I've got a basic mechanical knowledge. If you've watched my videos, you can tell that. All my tools are charity tools. I buy them from charity shops, and it's what people have given me. And I've bought the odd tool to make life a little bit easier. But these don't require any specialist equipment, any specialist tools, no laptops. You could do everything with spanners and sockets. I say recently, I last checked the valve guides. These are buckets, so you have a bucket with a shim underneath. If you're not sure what that means, if you look it up on YouTube, there's plenty of people that can show you. But basically, I checked all the valve clearances at 60,000 miles, and they were spot on. Not one of them was out. So really, really good. And I'm glad, because you got to take the camshafts out to replace the shims, which I didn't really want to do. So I will check them again in about, say, 5,000 miles, because that's around 16,000 miles since I've done them, and I will see what they're like. But it's making no noises. It's not struggling to start. Never miss a beat, this engine, so I don't think there's going to be any issues. The only thing I had to buy when I'd done it was new gaskets, rocker cover gaskets. It is time consuming. You have to take the tank off, you have to take the rocker covers off, you have to do your measurements and a little calculation. But if you take your time, took me a day to do, but it was easy. And I did do it at my mate's garage, because it's not something I wanted to do in the garden in case I couldn't finish it. So that was easy. Also, when I checked the valve clearances, I checked the cam chains, and they are brand new. Obviously they're not brand new, they look brand new. They're not making any noises, they're not lifting off the sprockets, there's no kinks, and I've even riding, there's no noises from them. The cam chain tensioners are fine, and I put that down to the fact that I change the oil every 8 to 10,000 miles, regardless of mileage. I always change the oil. I can always tell when the oil change is necessary, because the gearbox starts getting a little bit clunky when the oil is starting to get a bit thin. And I always use the semi-synthetic oil. That's what's recommended. I did try fully synthetic once, but the gear changes were far too clunky when the engine got hot. Put the semi-synthetic back in, absolutely spot on every time. And I use Motul oil. I get it from eBay, whatever suppliers on there I get it from. I'm not promoting eBay in any way, it's just that most of the things I buy are readily available. I also use Dave Silver parts, especially for things like the master cylinder kits. They have really good selection of parts, and far cheaper than the main dealer, and they're quite often original parts as well, so very worth a look at Dave Silver parts. If you do your own maintenance and you want to buy parts, give them a look. Even if you get someone to do it for you, if you buy the parts yourself, you can save a packet of money, because you don't know where your suppliers are getting the parts from. Anyway, guys, that's a quick rundown. Hope it helps, and if anyone's got any info, or if they want to ask any questions, you're welcome to leave any messages on my channel, and I will reply to you as soon as I can. So, have a great Christmas and New Year. Keep riding, ride safe, and enjoy. See you soon, guys. Bye-bye.